Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unique Peace on this beautiful Easter Sunday morning. I'm really excited to welcome Jack Stanis to Unique Peace. He's a budding herbalist, he is an aspiring documentary filmmaker, and he's combining the two and actually doing a documentary about cultivating and healing through the earth and plants. So I'm excited to hear about that. Also, if you like Unique Peace and you like what we do here, please do support us by subscribing and getting notified and leaving us some comments and letting us know what you think. With that, let's welcome Jack Stanis. Hi,
Hey, hello everybody.
how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing great.
I wouldn't want to
How
be anywhere else.
good, good. And how is the lovely state of Arizona?
Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I mean, every time I step out my front door and I have a beautiful view of the mountains, it's like I feel like I'm in a dream. Like I'm like, can I really be living in such a beautiful place? And New York is beautiful. That's where I was born and raised. But you know, uh, all of this out here is still so foreign to me, and I've been out here for a year and a half, and my gosh, just amazing.
So, I'd like you to share a little bit about your journey to becoming an herbalist in studying plants and stuff, because you originally, or you might even still be an acupuncturist. You study for acupuncture.
So I that was my original plan, but I'll kind of catch up to where I am right now. So my journey kind of started back in 2018. I always had an appreciation for nature and the earth as a kid. I spent all my summers outside in the woods, hiking with friends, making little movies with our camera. So I was always outside. Versus when there was a lot of other kids my age through middle school, high school, where they would just sit inside all summer and essentially just watch TV and play on their phones. We actually went out and did stuff. So I had this passion for films since I was a young child. I would sit in front of like our big TV at our house. I have this picture at home of me like at 1 years old sitting like 2 feet in front of our big TV looking up and watching Titanic.
Oh
My mom
gosh.
took this picture of me. I'll have to find it. I'll have to see if I can send it to you. But I always had this appreciation for the art of film, for the art of creativity, and especially music. I love music and just the creative arts as a whole. I always just had a deep appreciation for it because I realized the deep expression within it, how art we can use that as a modality of speaking our truth and getting our thoughts across in an entertaining
What?
notion. And for someone, you could watch a movie or you could listen to a song. So from a young age, I knew I wanted to do something with film. In 2018, well, 2017 essentially, I graduated from high school and I went to Five Towns College on Long Island in Dix Hills, and I wanted to be like a Hollywood filmmaker. So that was my idea for so long. And it wasn't until my second semester in Five Towns when I was hanging out with my good friend Mike Dom, which Michael's in. He knows him. He's a good friend with Mike, and I kept hearing about this Jamaica trip that he had kept going on, and Mike's good friend. Dr. Z was a professor at the University of Bridgeport University in
Okay.
Connecticut, and he ran this yearly Jamaica trip. He was the head of the naturopathic program there, where he brought students to Jamaica to live essentially in the wild environment of Jamaica, uh, connecting with Rastafarian culture and
Okay.
their uses of plant medicine. So I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, well, I have these film skills. I'm good friends with Mike. why don't you put me in touch with Dr. Z, because I'd love to go on one of these trips to make a documentary about his eco tours, help him promote it. So I met with Dr. Z, and we figured out a date for the next eco tour, and I went to Jamaica. And needless to say, in a week and a half, I went as a filmmaker and came back with a deep passion for plant medicine, the planet, culture, and the importance of educating people about culture and plant medicine. So I was on the last day of my trip there, and I had filmed this documentary and met, amazing bush doctors there, and just people that you would, I myself never expected to ever be in contact with.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, there's so much plant medicine here in the forests of Jamaica. There has to be medicine in the United States. There has to be.
Yep.
You're looking back at Native American culture and their uses of plants and how they lived in the wild and had that communication with the earth, which is so powerful. I said, you know what? When I get back to New York that following summer, I'm going to make it my job to study as much as I can about the local plants that we have on Long Island, learn about it, as just stuff my brain with it as much as I can, fully digest it, and just see what comes of it. So that whole summer, when I got back from Jamaica, I was, walking through a bunch of parks like Sunken Meadow State Park, and even the woods that I had behind my backyard in Setauket, and I was blown away at the plethora of plants that you could use as food and medicine. So once I finally got a grasp and felt confident enough to recite the knowledge, like it
Yep.
almost became second nature for me, is when I decided to begin bringing out friends, family, friends of friends into these parks that they had hung out their entire life in, and show them these plants that maybe they walked by and said, oh, that's just a weed, and tell them what it has been used for culturally in the past, what you could use it for now, how you can cook with it, how you can make tinctures out of it, what minor ailments it's used for. Like, for example, black birch bark, you could use that for a headache instead of an aspirin, and it works even better than an aspirin. And just seeing the look on their faces throughout the tour was just so rewarding for me, because for the first time in my life, I felt like I was actually doing something that, one, was helping the collective consciousness of humans here on planet Earth, but two, was actually something that I was noticing I was more passionate about than writing scripts and making films. And I never expected that. So after a summer of leading tours, through that following winter, when the plants go dormant, there's still a lot of medicinal plants out if you know how to identify the medicinal trees and barks and stuff like that. And there's some, you know, evergreen, like little shrubs and stuff, like the wintergreen that you can harvest.
Yep.
But I formulated a plan. And it was either one, I was going to write a little field guide, which I did start to. I got like 80 pages in. Or two, I was going to go back to my filmmaking skills, and I was going to make documentaries, little short docu-vlog videos, create a YouTube channel, and start to educate people from the comfort of their homes and their viewing screens, wherever they're watching, about these things here in the US that we can harvest and we can utilize respectfully, and talk about things like sustainable harvesting and all the things that herbalists practice their entire lives. Make that knowledge known to the general public, because usually with herbalists, they stay in their local niche, and that
Right.
we mingle with other herbalists. But it's important that the mind of somebody who is not an herbalist, who really doesn't have much interest in this stuff, at least knows this stuff, and the seed is at least planted in their consciousness.
Right.
So that following spring, I decided to drop out of Five Towns. I dropped out of film school, and I decided to pursue this path in making my little documentary series, Powerful Plant Allies, which is on YouTube. And from there, the rest is history. After I felt like I kind of had enough of New York, I decided my partner, yeah, my partner, now my fiance, we decided to pick up and we moved out here to Tucson, Arizona. And I'm doing the
Beautiful.
same thing here for the desert environment that I was doing for the East Coast environment with the desert plants here. So that's
Beautiful.
my plan, is to kind of open up my own company one day, because right now, instead of acupuncture school, I'm in school for wildlife conservation. So
Beautiful.
that's my goal, is to graduate, open up a documentary company, talk about plants in feature length documentaries, but also branch off into conserving the earth as well, and animals and stuff like that. So plants is really where I got my start.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So, this is about peace. So, my question, Jack, is what brings you peace?
There's a lot of things.
Mm,
Well, music for me is very peaceful. Making content is very peaceful for me. The whole editing process, the going out into nature and shooting videos. But what is most fulfilling to me, piece wise, is the comments that I get on YouTube, which is not a lot. I don't have a big following. I have a little small community that's slowly building and building. But just getting comments on YouTube from people that, wow, I have this plant in my backyard and I've been spraying weed killer on it for so long, yet I have an ailment that this plant could have been helping me with all along. Little things like that. And when I lead tours, and which I haven't been doing a lot of lately, but when I used to do it in New York, just seeing people in our community almost, when I was watching people rediscover that these plants were medicinal, it was almost as if I was watching them be reborn, as if they were almost coming into an ancient power that they had within themselves, within their heart, within their
yeah,
soul, that their higher self always knew about, but their lower self had forgotten about in this earthly plane, in this, physical reality that we seem to get so lost and caught up in. It was almost as if I saw light come back into people's eyes, the wonder of life, the mystery of life, the excitement of life. And that's something that's severely lacking in today's society, is there is no excitement for life anymore. People get up, they go to work, they come home and go to bed. There's no
yeah,
mystery, there's no wonder, there's no childlike energy. So if anything brings me joy and peace, it would be that. It would be seeing my fellow humans, friends, family, people I don't know, the collective slowly waking up and coming in touch with this information again, because it is rightfully theirs and nobody should have taken it away from us in the
yeah.
first place. So,
I totally agree. So, when you're out in nature, which I gather brings you a lot of peace, what's your favorite peaceful place in either New York or Arizona, or one in each?
I'll give you one in each. So, I love Sunken Meadow, and I think, Janice, when you came on one of my tours,
Yes,
that's where we went, right?
you went to Sunken Meadow. Yep.
We did, yep. I love Sunken Meadow, but there is this one place at South Haven Park, out in it's kind of out by what's out east on Long Island? What's it?
Riverhead.
Riverhead. Yeah. See, I'm losing the names now. I've been gone too far, too long. Yeah. Um, Out by Riverhead, Yaphank. It was close to Yaphank.
Okay, yeah, Punk. Yeah, that's even
Yeah.
farther than Riverhead. Yes.
Yeah. So there's this park there, South Haven Park. I was just strolling along, and there's a lot of wild berries there. There's a lot of mullein, but there's a lot of blueberries. So I
Mm,
was going through blueberry season one time with Zach, my fiance, and we're walking through, and we decided to follow this path that was like bedded from side to side with like the most beautiful moss that I've ever seen. And so we start walking down this path, and the path gets narrower and narrower until all of a sudden it comes to almost like a stop.
Hmm.
So we come to this like bed of trees. It becomes forest again. So we're like, all right, let's just keep going down this way. I have a really good feeling about, let's see what medicine is down here, if there's any berries and stuff. So we start walking and walking down this path, and all of a sudden we come to this area where there's this like little hidden stream, no path in sight, no human in sight, bedded with the most beautiful moss I've ever seen, and this amazing tall oak tree that
Oh, I
just
love
stands
oak
over it.
trees.
Oh my goodness. I come across this, I almost fall to my knees because the energy and the vibration that was in this place. The first thing I said to my partner Zach, I was like, I don't think that anybody has been here in quite a long time. Like I felt like there was almost no human touch in the area, almost as if like it had been dormant and just like a hidden treasure that was waiting to be discovered for a while. So I'm sitting there and I sit under this oak tree and I go into this meditation. And when I come out of the meditation, I look at my phone and almost 3.5 hours passed. And it felt like I was under for maybe like 20, 30 minutes. And my partner Zach, he's off. He's like laying down somewhere under some other tree. And when so we're leaving, and I'm like, I don't want to go. I want to stay here. I want to live here. So then we leave and we go home, and I'm like, I have to go back. I have to go back. So the week after, I had told my friend Mike, who introduced me to Jamaica, and we were planning on going, and I couldn't make it somehow. So I'm like, okay, here's the coordinates. You go find it. You go hang out there. So as he's walking along the path, and his phone dies. So
Oh
he's like,
no.
oh gosh, so I don't have the coordinates. So he keeps walking down the path, and I'm sure he tells the story better than I do, but he keeps going on his hike, and he gets this calling because he sees this like this path with the moss on the side of it. So he keeps
Right. I'm
walking and
getting
walking.
chills, so I love this story already.
Yeah, yeah. So he keeps walking and walking, and he comes across it without any GPS, without anything. It's as if the forest guided him there. This place was so profound to me, and there's a lot of beautiful places on Long Island. You go
There
out
are
to
definitely
Montauk,
is. Yep.
it's stunning, stunning. You go away
Stunning.
from like Middle Island where it's all crowded and stuff. You go out east, it's gorgeous. This place tops all of that to me.
Wow.
And it's a small area. It's not even the size of my apartment, but it held that much power in it that to this
Might
day
have to
I
take
still
a
have
trip.
dreams about it. Yeah, well, when I come back this summer in July, we'll go
Yes.
for a hike. We'll go for a hike and we'll go to the
Absolutely.
spot
I
again
I
because
wanna
I
I
didn't
wanna
go
see the
in.
oak tree.
Yeah, oh you'll love it. I didn't go in December when I was back, so this summer we'll take a trip out there.
Perfect. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, okay, all right. But out here, there is a place called Sabino Canyon, which is about 20 minutes from me. It's on the side of Mount Lemon, which is the mountain that is, I say it likes to guard Tucson. It's like Father Mountain is there protecting Tucson. And so we're walking along Sabino Canyon, and I come across this beautiful little spot that's by this beautiful stream. And I'm hanging out there, and I'm looking around, and across the stream, I see this sign for a hike called the Seven Falls hike, which is a very popular hike here in Tucson. So I'm like, oh, Seven Falls, it's a waterfall? I want to see it. So I'm hiking. I'm hiking with again, my fiance, and we're going across streams and rugged terrain. Like, we crossed probably about 8 or 9 streams you have to go to get there. It is a trek, and it almost is the universe kind of putting you through that. Like, are you worthy of seeing this waterfall? Are you worthy of respecting this sacred place? Can you make it through this hike? Pushes you to the limit sometimes because you're going up and down, climbing over rocks. So we finally get over the last stream and we start hiking along this mountain ridge. We're hiking and we're hiking, and we come around this bend, and all of a sudden, the canyon opened up into this magnificent 7-level waterfall.
Ooh.
And at the bottom, there is this pool. Water is crystal clear. The day that we went, nobody was there, so it was like divine timing. We get there, and I am almost in like the verge of tears because you hear everybody joke around. Why do you want to move to Arizona? There's no water there. It's lifeless, which is the furthest thing from the truth.
I haven't been,
Ah,
but
yeah.
I'm called to go. I have been called.
Okay.
I have to go to Sedona. And
Okay. Yep.
I have family who used to live in Arizona, and they're like, "Oh, Sedona's expensive." That's not why I need to go to Sedona.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. 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 You want to go for the nature, the vortex, the energy that's
Gee.
there. Yeah. It's
And
magnificent. It's magnificent.
And so it's like I get it. And my stepdad worked in Phoenix, and my parents really liked Tucson. The original
Yeah.
plan was to move to Tucson after my brother graduated. And then
Wow.
my sister had 3 kids, and, now they're grandparents and they're not moving.
Right.
But they really do like Tucson.
Nice. Oh,
So
it's beautiful here. Yeah. Yeah.
I would
So.
like to make this trek because I like waterfalls.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You let me know when you're out here then. That's it. We got 2 hikes planned. That sounds
Yes.
great. Sounds
Yes.
like a plan. So, but when I got to the waterfall, I just started bawling because again, it's like these places that are in nature where there is no cell service, nothing. If a flash flood came through there, if it started raining up on the mountain, like
Oh, yeah.
there is no way you would have been able to contact somebody to come and help you. It is just there's nothing out there. And I mean, this is like an 8-mile hike going there and then eight
And then
miles
you're
back.
back.
So I mean, my legs were giving out at that point, and that was like my first summer here. And of course, as a new Arizona person, I didn't pack enough water, so
Oh,
I
you're
was
probably dehydrated.
really, really parched, which is a good lesson. But it kind of added to the mystique of the journey of the trial, almost of like
Right.
getting there, and it has been my favorite hike ever since, and I've only done it twice, and I can't get it out of my mind. Whenever I think of hiking, I always think of that. And I love Saguaro National Park. Like right now, we have the wildflowers, like the super blooms
Oh,
right now.
beautiful.
The California poppy is just all over the place. But yeah, that's my Arizona place right there.
That sounds beautiful. I would love to take that hike.
Yeah.
Being a Coloridian, I know the proper shoes and bring
Oh
lots of
yeah.
water and layer up. Bring the sweatshirt. I don't need no sweatshirt. Bring the sweatshirt.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I'm not dumb. Bring the
Yeah.
sweatshirt.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's like recently, not this past summer, but the summer before, we took a family trip, Michael, Jeffrey, and I took them up to Pikes Peak, and I forgot to tell them to bring sweatshirts. I'm the only one with a sweatshirt.
Oh,
I had a bad mommy moment. I had a
yeah.
bad partner moment. They
I got
walked
you.
out with sweatshirts.
Yep.
So they
I
could
got you.
mementos. So, how do you bring peace to others, Jack?
I like to think that I bring peace through just my interactions with people. Um, I respect everybody for their differences of opinions. I have friends and family that watch my videos and see me communicate with plants and, think it's the weirdest thing in the world, but also love what I'm doing and respect what I'm doing and have people with beliefs on in their own lives that I can't conceptualize, but I still love them and I don't judge them. And I think that is the key to bringing peace to others, is to accept them for their differences, whether it's their world viewpoints or their spiritual beliefs, or if they don't have any spiritual beliefs and they want to walk through life not believing in anything. Uh, you have to accept that everybody is on their own journey and to love them for that. And I think that's a lot of the problem that we're facing in a lot of the world, obviously, but a lot of spiritual communities as well. I find there's a lot of judgment, and that's not that's not the path to enlightenment. You know, judging others is not the path. It's accepting others, accepting those that, you know, I mean, even people that like you couldn't even imagine getting along with because they are just so different from you, still loving them and sending them that energy. Because when you bottle up that hate inside and that energy inside of you know, I'm special and those who don't walk this path are not special, that you fall into a trap there.
Yeah.
So I think the way I bring joy to people is to accept them for their differences. And, you know, I like to think I bring joy through my plant videos and through my music and just through the art I love to share with the world. I always say your passions are your purpose. If you have a specific passion on this planet that you were gifted with, that you feel is natural for you, that is your purpose, and to fully embody it. And I think that that's another big problem with the education system in this world is instead of embodying our passions and our expertise, we are loaded with a bunch of nonsense that we're never going to use in life. So we waste years and years upon years learning about stuff that we're never going to think twice about once we get the grade in the class, instead of harnessing our skills, learning how to utilize them, learning how you can share them with others, as well as learning the power of love, forgiveness, and how to care for the world and be a functioning member of society in the aspect of being a good person. You know, they don't teach that in school.
No, and some people, even if they did teach it in school, I don't know if it would take. There's just some people where it
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
take,
well, that's the
sorry.
that's the that's the problem, you know. But that's the whole journey, is to love those people as well, even if it
Yeah.
doesn't, you know. So
And it's hard. Sometimes it's
it's
just
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
We're
pretend that
human. We're
they
human. Yep,
so
yep, yeah. We're human.
so here's a fun question.
Yeah.
How do the plants bring you peace?
Plants have a sense of humor to them, and I know that may sound weird to some, but when I'm out in nature and there's this one saguaro here. So the saguaros are the
A
native
big
native Tucsonians pronounce them sahuaro
so
and sahuaro, and it was the first saguaro that I had encountered or really sat next to when I came here in 2019 for a weekend just to see Tucson. So whenever I go to Saguaro National Park on the east side, I go visit this saguaro, and I'll go and I'll sit and I'll meditate. And when I meditate near plants, I always get this like, when I get deep enough and I get to that level where like you are completely merged with your surroundings, there is no mental separation anymore. Like you are there, you are just vibrating, and nothing else is existing around you except that vibration that you feel. I always get this like tickle in my stomach from around me, from different points around me. And at first, I didn't know what that was. And then through further meditation, I noticed that it was the plants. And the plants, it's almost as if, one, they can't verbally speak, they don't have vocal cords like us. But you look at a lot of native herbalist practices, Native American practices, different cultures from other countries, their practices. There is always somewhere in those cultures a section on communicating with the earth and communicating with
and with the
plants.
plants. Oh,
So this is not unheard of knowledge. This is not like knowledge that has never been discovered by humans before. It has been known by our ancestors. There are plants that I have gone out when I've gone like wildcrafting and sustainably harvesting and this and that. And I've had a patch of, say, like dandelion that I've meditated with, and I've gotten permission to harvest because I always get the sense I get permission or validation. I get permission from when I'm sitting there meditating near a stand of plants, and I get that tickle in my stomach, like that love feeling, that warm butterfly feeling inside. And then there are some plants that I go near and I will, offer up some tobacco or something to harvest it. Because with wildcrafting, you always have to offer something back. That's just the way that I've been taught. That's the way I look at the world. That's how I practice it. Other people have their different methods, but it's always important to give back to the earth instead of take, take, take.
Right.
When I'm sitting near a plant that doesn't want me to harvest it, I will get this feeling almost in my heart as if I'm
Like a
being like
tightness.
shoved, like almost like a tightness, but almost as if I'm being like passed back. And my friend Bay, who she owns a little apothecary in Sayville, she was saying that she was, I forgot where she was vacationing, but she's very connected to the plants as well. And she was walking through, and I think it was like a forest or something. Bay, I'm sorry if I'm messing up your story, but I'm going along the lines of it. And she came across this rubber tree and surrounded by a bunch of other plants. And, in her meditative state, she was talking to the other plants and asking them what their purpose was here. And she was getting literal feedback through images of what their purpose was here through their medicinal uses, this and that. And she goes up to this rubber tree and, she asks this rubber tree, what's your purpose here? And in a very sassy tone, it said, I'm just here because I'm here. So
That's
plants,
great.
yep.
It's like
So,
a like sassy 2-year-old.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So plants, they are able to communicate not in a verbal way that us humans conceptualize, and some think is the only way to communicate, which is ridiculous. But they do have voices, and when I go out and I connect with plants, even if I'm not foraging or leading tours, I get this warm sense of gratitude that radiates off of plants and the earth, not just, and even the animal life, just everything in nature. I get this gratitude vibration that just comes into me, that the earth and everything that lives on it has been waiting for so long for humans to reach out and make contact with them again spiritually, that it's almost like they're excited. They're like, oh my gosh, there's somebody here that's communicating with me. It's not just me, obviously. Anybody else that goes out and
Right.
does this, has a similar feeling of like this overwhelming sense of joy that could bring you to tears, of these plants that have this knowledge, that want to help us. They want to help
Yeah.
us. They are here for that. We all have a purpose here. They want that relationship with us again, and when they see others making that effort and going out and trying to rekindle the ancient knowledge that their ancestors had, that we all have within us, uh, it's a feeling that I can't even bring to words. I can't even describe it. So plants bring me joy in the fact that, you know they are here and they want us to know about them, and they're just there waiting patiently. If anything's a lesson of patience, it's the plants, because
It's
the
the
plants,
plants.
they're
I,
just, you think of trees, I mean, they're just as patient as can be.
patient
They're To
as
me, they're the most intelligent beings on the planet, are plants.
I
They
agree.
really are. Yeah.
I did hear this wonderful, I can't remember if it was Wayne Dyer or somebody else, that, like the remedy always, like if something's like, say, poison ivy or poison sumac, which my brother will tell you is horrible, the
Oh,
remedy is always next to the,
oh, yep.
to the cause.
Interesting. Interesting.
And when you stop to think about it, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You've
so
heard of the
I,
doctrine of signatures too?
yeah,
Yeah, where plants in their shape will
right.
tell you what they're used for. Like ginkgo biloba leaves look like a brain, cognitive
Yeah,
function.
right. So I found that little tidbit interesting, and I had never thought of it that way until I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Although
Yeah.
I will say, one of my teachers, who I am very, very, very fond of, Ellen Kamhai, who is the natural nurse,
Mm,
fantastic human being. She is a huge advocate for using poison ivy as a homeopathic
Mm.
for poison ivy. So she made a video on this
Oh.
where when poison ivy sprouts up for the first time in the year, I have not done this,
I
but
think I might
you,
be terrified to try.
yeah, I don't blame you. But she took and she learned this from one of her teachers or her friends. You take the small leaf shoots of poison ivy at the beginning of the growth season, and you actually ingest those, and it makes you immune to poison ivy. Essentially, like a vaccine as a homeopathic works. It works like that. I have not tried it, so I cannot speak to experience with it. But she advocates on it. Like anytime I ask her about it, she will tell you about that. So it's very
Okay.
fascinating how you can use, you know, something like poison ivy to heal poison ivy. So yeah,
That's
I'll
beautiful.
have to put her in touch with you. Maybe you could have her on the show
I
because
would love that. I
yeah,
I I I love that idea. Plus, I
yeah.
could probe a little bit on the theory behind that one.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, she could explain it much more than me. But if you anybody who's watching, if you type in Ellen Kamhai, the natural nurse, poison ivy, her video will pop
It'll
up
come
on
up.
YouTube, so you can watch that. And Janice, I'll send you the link if you want to add it in the description of the,
Yes,
um, yeah.
absolutely.
So
So, one more question before we head to the land of music by Jack Stanis. How does Jack Stanis, if I came to you, I'm really having a hard day, my mind is a little chaotic, I just want some peace. What's in your toolbox that quickly you could pull out and advise, hey, try this? Have you thought about this?
herb wise or
And
advice
it
wise,
just in general,
anything.
yeah.
Well, with anything, there's always a root cause to anything, and I find obviously talking about it helps. Talking can go a long way, especially if you have a friend that listens and doesn't judge, which is very important. And but one thing that I've noticed about people, when they have bad days, they tend to, they'll talk about it, but they tend to absorb it inside even more versus releasing it. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? So they'll talk about it, but after they're done talking about it, they'll continue to harper on it for days and days and
And
days.
days. Ruminating is a horrible thing.
Just like almost like an illness vibrating in their aura, just taking over. And eventually that is going to lead to a blocked chakra,
Yep.
which is not good because we know that if your chakras are blocked, that can lead to physical manifestation of disease.
Yep.
Um, so one thing that's helped me, especially in the beginning of my path when I was purging a lot of trauma that I had that I didn't even know was there, either from earlier in this life or from a past life,
Past life.
which is where a lot of our trauma comes from, and we don't really notice that. And so many people go their whole lives without realizing that they've had many past lives and that they're very old souls. If you don't heal the vibrational root cause of it, you could come mentally to terms with it, but if you don't actually spiritually let it go, that same lesson will continue to cycle into your life until you finally come to terms with it and release it. So, things that have helped me, I mean, plants are great. Plants are great at healing physical ailments. But me, having gone through the three levels of Reiki training, I have found Reiki is the best medicine. I do self Reiki pretty much every day.
Yep.
I've
I'm a
done that.
master too, so
Okay, yeah. So you know how powerful it can be.
it is.
And
Yeah.
but I will say it is only powerful to those who are willing to let it in. Because
Yes, we
I've
have
given
to.
Reiki to so many people that are eager to try it, but deep down inside there is something, some little voice in their head telling
I'm
them
telling you.
that this is mumbo jumbo and this is not going to work.
Right.
And just
Nope,
that
I've had those
simple
clients,
thought,
so
yep, oh yeah, and just that simple thought alone can completely let go of all the healing that could have taken place in one session of Reiki that is now gone. Um,
Yeah. I will
so
say
you,
that I've been blessed with helping my clients try and overcome that little voice.
I
It's like
love
if
that.
you're
I love
coming
that.
to try and it's like I tell them, "This is your journey. I'm just facilitating."
Exactly.
So if they're blocking their journey and they don't get anything from it, it's one of those like, "Okay, well, what did you see and what did you feel?" And we kinda start there because I want them to release as you want them to release and discover what that block is. And I've learned, especially in this lifetime, going back through the past lives, that the key is to meet people where they're at.
I love that. Love that. Yeah. Beautifully stated. Exactly. And that goes back to our conversation before of being willing to help others that, maybe not be are not walking down this path at all, having that love and need to want to help them and
Yes,
help them feel comfortable in their day-to-day life. Nobody should ever wake up in the morning and wish that it was bedtime already.
no,
Nobody should ever wake up in the morning and wish that they want to take their own life.
I agree.
That is the first sign that something is not
It's not
working
right.
on this planet.
Right.
Something is not working because humans should want to wake up every day and look around at the world and say, "Thank you
Thank
for
you.
this blessing of a physical body." Um, and that, I think in the years to come, we are going to slowly see the veil begin to thin between this world and the world beside us, the world that we as Reiki practitioners have been working with.
Yep.
People in history have worked with this energy. People who are working with this energy right now as we speak. We're
Yep.
going to see the veil thin and get thinner and thinner, and people that we never thought would ever wake up will begin to wake up. I do have that faith that we are on that path. So
So I didn't mean to cut you off. So if
no,
there
no,
was
no. I love that. Yeah.
okay. So you've written a song.
Yes.
So what's the intro? What give us a little backstory, and then we will listen to you play.
So I started writing music back in 2017. Excuse me. Well, I should say I started playing guitar back in 2017. I've always had the calling since I was a young child, just like I did with film, to pick up the guitar. And I did for like 2 weeks when I was like 5 years old. It was the classical guitar I picked up, and I went to the lesson that some guy was teaching me, and right from the bat, he wasn't teaching me chords, he was teaching me how to do lead guitar, which is, a lot of classical guitar is finger picking, this and that. Lost my interest completely for
Mm,
maybe 16, 17 years. Because I was like, I can't even do this, so why am I going to pick up the guitar? Well, I had the calling once again and started picking up the guitar. Picked it up very fast, which talk about past lives is another thing that I've kind of revealed throughout my path is that I have played this instrument before in a past life. And as with anything that comes naturally to you, you've pretty
you
much
pretty much
mostly have done it in a
experienced
past life.
in
Yeah,
past life.
exactly. Yeah. So I started writing music about a year after I picked up the guitar. And this is the second song I started writing, but the first song I finished. I started writing one song
Okay.
before this, but never finished it until after this song. So I know that's a bit of a tongue twister. I hope you could follow that. But so this,
Mm,
I wanted to write a song about the earth and about the planet and how beautiful she is and all of the beautiful hidden wisdom and music that she has hidden within her. And this song is called Earth Songs, and it's about that.
beautiful.
Very cool.
I
So
hand it over to you.
I'm gonna take these off for a second, and I'll be right back. So I'm gonna play this song for you. I hope you guys enjoy. heart, it's gonna burst all the world awake. In love, and it remains that way. The destiny of my spirit, it's gonna take us all away. I give thanks for it all, for no longer shall all my fears answer the call. No longer shall I fall. By God, for sure, you know I'm gonna answer the call. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 'Cause that earth is singing her song, so loud and proud to share with us all. Yeah. One more step and you'll be gone. Come, my love, I won't take you home. Is that free will I see sitting up on that shelf? Or is this all decided by my higher self? Living his learning for eternity. Can I really answer that in certainty? I don't think so, yeah. 'Cause that earth is singing her song, so loud and proud to share with us all, yeah. One more step and you'll be gone. Come, my love, I won't take you home. That earth is singing her song, so loud and proud to share with us all, yeah. One more step and you'll be gone. Come, my love, I won't take you home. There's a light, and it's coming to a body near you. There's a light, and it's gifted from God above you. There's a light, and it's gifted up and down from God above you. There's a light, and it's gifted up and down from God above you. Yeah, shake it around. She's been sitting here locked away. Her beating heart, it's gonna burst all the world awake. In love, and she remains that way. The destiny of her spirit, it's gonna take us all away. That earth is singing her song, so loud and proud to share with us all, yeah. One more step and you'll be gone. Come, my love, I won't take you home. That earth is singing her song, so loud and proud to share with us all. Yeah, one more step and you'll be gone. Come, my love, she won't take you home. My love, I'll take you home. My love, I'll take you home. My love, she'll take you home. My love, I'll take you home. Earth songs.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
You got
Thank
it.
you. That was beautiful.
First song I finished. Second song I started writing.
But still,
Yeah,
you finished it.
I did. I did. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So thank you for
Thank
sharing
you,
that
Jess.
with us.
Yes, and thank you very much for having me. This was a blast.
Wonderful. And I want to thank Jack for coming on and sharing what brings him peace and for sharing that beautiful song. And he shared it on Easter, and hopefully he'll share it again on Earth Day coming up.
Oh yeah.
That'll be all over.
I got a whole performance video planned, so it'll be up.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So I would like to wish everybody a happy Easter. And if, again, you enjoyed today's broadcast, I invite you to subscribe and like and get notified. And I wish everybody a peaceful day.